the vampires were having church outside. So were the vampires really evil? You know what I'm saying? By the end of the movie, what I came to realize was that the vampires were not evil. The vampires weren't evil. They just had a job to do. They were a part of nature. You know what I mean? You think of people in your life, and I've been through this. You know, I live life just like you do, right? You think of people in your life who you may perceive as evil or have it out for you or anything like that. And it took me years and years to realize. I was like, wait a minute, these people aren't evil. They're just being themselves. It's just that their frequency and their resonance is clashing with yours at that particular point in each other's lives. You know what I mean? And this creates the adversity. Whereas your logical mind wants to perceive them as evil because they're stopping you from doing what you want to do or need to do. Whereas they're looking at you the same way. You know what I'm saying? The guitar scene, the legendary guitar scene, Sammy's guitar scene. You know what I'm saying? Like that was special. That was special. That was kind of like the director's nod to music and, you know, the power of music and so on and so forth, right? I ain't gonna say I cried, but my eyes did well up at that scene. When it got to the part where the roof was burning, I was just like, oh man, this is beautiful. Like you just gotta love humanity to see all of those cultures from past, present, and future in one space. Like it was something very, very, very magical, very spiritual as well. You know, and you had to appreciate it. If you don't really have a knowledge or an exposure to culture and music, then it's gonna go right over your head. But I really teared up and welled up at that scene. The first time Remick comes to the door. So there was, how many times did Remick come to the door? Remick came to the door twice. He came to the door the first time, you know what I'm saying, you know, pulling his tricks, you know, trying to lure him with inclusion, fellowship, and love, right? Try to play a little song, you know what I'm saying, like here go, you know what I mean? And then he pointed out Mary. He's trying to he's playing on your insecurities, playing on your yearnings and desires. He knows Mary. Mary plays that quote unquote tragic mulatto role, you know what I'm saying, where she's not good enough for the whites and she's not good enough for the blacks, you know what I mean? And so this is where she feels compelled to reach out to them. She's like, I can talk to them. They'll tell me more than they'll tell you. They know, you know what I'm saying? Like I have an in with them. You know what I mean? Once again, playing on her insecurities and her yearnings. And then she actually gets to meet up with them and they're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, this fellowship and love, you know what I'm saying? You could be one of us. You know what I'm saying? We just want to have a good time, you know? And you know, like even when Remick was playing the song for Mary, you know what I'm saying? You could see her like, wow, like no one has ever, you know what I'm saying, been this warm to me. You know what I'm saying? I've always, you know, had to deal with this typical Mississippi Delta bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Here, these folks being so nice to me, right? Where it's really, I think it's rated R, but he really wanted to keep it PG-13 and kind of make it so that it's stomachable for, you know, where the movie, the characters are stomachable, but it's still just a horror movie, right? He wanted to keep it that way. And so, because if you ask me, Mary was probably a former escort. You know, the way she was being treated in the film, the way Stack was treating her, the way she was, like, what kind of woman wants to go out and meet a man in the middle of the night and try to get money out of him? What you call that? Come on, son. What you call that, son? We know what that's about. But the director, I'm pretty sure they sat in the writer's room and was just like, let's keep it PG-13. Let's just keep it about the conversation and try her inviting them into the club and trying to get money out of them. See what they're about. All right. Here goes the power of economy, right? Where money is still money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, these are old ancient coins, you know what I'm saying? But it's still gold, right? It'll still pay for whatever it is that you want, you know what I mean? And so yeah, and he's constantly he's luring them with their desires. You know, Mary wants to belong. Mary wants money, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so he plays on it. And then they placate death as salvation, and this is kind of similar to you know, New Testament Christianity, you know, quote unquote flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. Like, what that mean, right? Some people refer that to as vampirism, where others refer to it as cannibalism, but that's another conversation. But yeah, you know, placating death for salvation, you know what I'm saying, dying to your old self, you know, that New Testament Christianity. And this was the same Christianity that was imposed upon him and his people way back, however many hundreds and thousands of years ago, as he's a vampire, right? And this is what made him who he is, you know, this is what made him the restless soul that he is, or the vampire that he is. In the very beginning, you know, Sammy's father, he was like, you know, oh, these philanderers and these sinners and these you know, whomever, all in these clubs and these juke joints, right? But when they sang that Pale Moon song, what were they doing? They were singing and stomping, you know what I'm saying? Just like they do in church. So it was kind of odd to me. It was like, oh, so wait a minute, they're having church in the club, but they're supposed to be sinners, right? And once again, they were outside of the church singing and stomping with Remick, you know what I mean? So it's like, so it made you wonder. And then with Remick and them, it was black and white people singing and stomping and jumping and shouting and having a good time. You know what I mean? So like, who's really the sinners? Are the sinners inside the church or the sinners outside the church? You know what I'm saying? Let's think about it. Let's talk about it.